Hey guys, this is Marcus from Big Time Super Friends, and this is my review of X-Men's First Class. Hey guys, before we get started, we are reviewing every X-Men movie to date, leading up to Logan's movie that comes out next month. So you'll find links to X-Men 1's review, X-Men 2, and yes, we even did X-Men Origins and X-Men United. Links down below. Now, this movie starts off in 1944, and it happens to be one of my most favorite opening scenes when it comes to an X-Men movie, because it introduces Eric Lenscher being played by Michael Fassbender, and Charles Xavier played by James McAvoy. I think those two actors and those two additions alone made the new trilogy, possible in many, many ways. But Kevin Bacon's character in this movie is also just badass. It opens up with Kevin Bacon and the young Magneto having a dialogue scene, and Kevin Bacon wants to develop Magneto's power at an early age to essentially to his own benefit. And he wants Magneto to move a coin that he sets on the table and slides it over to him, and he just pretty much says, "Move that coin. I know what you can do. I know you can move metal, right? Move that fucking coin." Of course he couldn't, so to add extra motivation, he brings in Magneto's mom into the picture, and this is where the scene gets a little tense, because, I mean, put yourself in his shoes. Your mom's right there, you want to see your mom, right? You're like in this horrible situation, and if you don't do what he is asking, he's gonna kill your mom. And possibly kill you too, for that matter. He ends up killing his mom, and that's when Magneto snapped a little bit. While all this is happening, Kevin Bacon's just smiling. He's happy. He's witnessing the power and the birth, essentially, of Magneto. The movie restarts, essentially, with Magneto being in the bed, grown up, Michael Fassbender, full status, and he's playing with that very same coin that Kevin Bacon had him and wanted him to move at an early age. Now, this is a very cool scene, because not only does he still have this coin as an adult, he's moving it through his fingers, he's playing around, he's thinking about it, but it also lets you know of what's to come later on in the end of this movie. He flicks that coin at the wall at a sketch drawing of Kevin Bacon's character Sebastian, and it lands right between his eyes, and that's very telling, very, very telling of what's to come at the end of this movie. Michael Fassbender just wants to pay him back. He wants to kill him to avenge the death of his mom and pretty much make him pay for everything he's done. He walks into a bar, he drinks a beer, he turns over to the right, and he sees a picture, a framed picture of Sebastian with two fishermen. It looks like two fishermen. And those two guys just so happen to be right behind Michael Fassbender as he's drinking the beer. And he strikes up a conversation with these gentlemen, and he's, saying, "Oh, what brings you over to Argentina?" This is what makes this scene great. Michael Fassbender's character, Magneto, says, "Oh, my parents are from that same place." And the guys ask him, "Oh, what were their names? Maybe we know them," essentially. And his response was perfect. The dialogue was perfect. He says, "They have no names. Their names were taken away from them." And the minute he said that, you could tell those two guys sitting at the bar were kind of like, "Oh my God, I know what he means. They were Jewish. We killed them." And the tension gets just raised even more, because they all realize what's going to happen, or what needs to happen. Michael Fassbender grabs a knife, stabs one guy in the arm, throws that knife into someone's gut, retracts it back, stabs the guy in the arm again, makes that guy shoot the other guy in the head, and he's getting closer and closer and closer to Sebastian. Professor Xavier and Magneto, they need a team. They need to start recruiting to face off against Sebastian and his team. And we're going to get into Sebastian and his team a little bit later, because I think there are a lot of great villains there. But when it comes to Charles Xavier, the X-Men team. I mean, you have a lot of great characters in their team, and one of my favorite things is, as they're recruiting these different characters, they run into Hugh Jackman. Of course, Hugh Jackman has to make an appearance. He's fucking Hugh Jackman. He's the huge Jackman. You know what I mean? Stupid. And Hugh Jackman's line, his only line to Professor Xavier and Magneto is,
"Excuse me, I'm Eric Lensher.
Tell Xavier.
Go fuck yourself."
and then that was it. That was Wolverine's line. Go fuck yourself. It still makes me giggle to even just thinking about it. When it comes to Sebastian's villain team, I think he has the more memorable villains, because Azazel is a teleporting demon-like character, but he's also really good martial art a combat tactician. Then you have the telepath Emma Frost, who is on par with Professor Xavier as far as their abilities are concerned. As a matter of fact, I think Emma Frost was recently confirmed to be actually stronger as a telepath than Professor Xavier in the new Civil War storyline. Could be wrong on that, correct me if I am. My most memorable scene of Azazel is when he's breaking in to the CIA headquarters.
What is that?
It was literally raining bodies, and I thought that was just visually as a superhero movie, that was visually very cool. And lastly, I'm not going to get too in depth here as far as there's more to the story that I'm covering here, way more to the story that I'm covering here. And this movie has been out for a while, so I want to take the time to talk about the ending. The ending, I feel, is again, as far as X-Men movie endings are concerned, I would have to rate it as top 2 endings of all X-Men movies to date. When Magneto takes the helmet off of Sebastian and Professor Xavier locks Sebastian in, freezes him in action.
Sorry, Charles.
Eric, please, be the better man. You haven't...
But I don't trust you.
Eric, there will be no turning back!
No! Charles! Don't do this, Eric!
That scene is so good because Magneto is telling Sebastian the truth, his true feelings.
You killed my mother. This is what we're going to do.
No. Please, Eric, no.
I'm going to count to 3. And I'm going to move the coin.
This goes back to the coin thing that I was talking to you about earlier on. At the beginning of the movie, Magneto is telling you how he's going to kill Sebastian, and that's exactly what happens. He pulls out that coin that he's had since childhood. That coin represented everything in Magneto, the character Magneto in this movie.
1.
Please, Eric.
2. 3.
Not only does it show Magneto essentially killing Sebastian, which he did, right? But it also forced... You could also look at it the other way. You could look at it as, no, Professor Xavier killed Sebastian because he was the one holding Sebastian in place. So it was a very good scene because you have multiple things going on at the same time. You have Magneto wanting to kill Sebastian and killing Sebastian. You have Magneto forcing Charles Xavier essentially to choose between holding Sebastian in place or letting him go and having Sebastian kill Magneto. You have so Magneto, Professor Xavier is being put in a tough situation too. It was a very cool back and forth visual in the sense where as that coin is going through Sebastian's head and exiting out the back end, it's cutting back and forth between Professor Xavier and Sebastian. I guarantee you that Professor Xavier was also feeling that pain of the coin entering the brain and exiting the brain because he's inside Sebastian. And that to me was why this movie was so good. From the beginning scenes to the ending scenes, there was a lot of memorable scenes and a lot of impactful scenes. So with that out of the way, my rating for this movie, I'm going to give it a B+. It's amazing. Anyways, guys, if you like this content, please like, share, and subscribe, and we will be back with X-Men Days of Future Past and X-Men Age of Apocalypse coming up shortly. So please subscribe and stay tuned for that. And if you want to stay up to date, hit that bell icon right next to the subscribe button. So every single time we do upload a video, you will get notified and you'll get an email about that. Anyways, on that note, catch you guys next time. Later.
Yeah.